Welcome back, horror enthusiasts, to another thrilling episode of Body Count on Quaver TV. Today, we're taking a journey through the twisted realms of anthology horror, where multiple tales of terror converge to create a tapestry of nightmares. We'll be focusing on some of the most iconic anthology series and films, including Tales from the Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Hood, and other notable entries in this chilling subgenre. Get ready to tally up the bodies as we explore these collections of macabre stories. Let's start our journey with Tales from the Dark Side, a television series that ran from 1984 to 1988, followed by a film adaptation in 1990. Created by George A. Romero, this series brought weekly doses of horror into living rooms across America. While the TV series featured a new story each episode, we'll focus on the film for our body count. Tales from the Dark Side, the movie presents three main stories, bookended by a framing narrative. In Lot 249, based on a story by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, we see multiple deaths at the hands of a reanimated mummy. The body count here includes at least 3 on-screen deaths, with the implication of more to come. Cat from Hell, penned by Stephen King, features a murderous feline exacting revenge. The cat racks up a body count of 3, including a memorably gruesome death where it crawls down a victim's throat. Lover's Vow, the final tale, seems to have a lower body count, with only 1 definitive death. However, the twist ending implies a potentially higher off-screen body count over the years. In the framing story, a young boy outwits a witch who plans to cook and eat him, turning the tables and presumably ending her reign of terror. While not explicitly shown, it's implied that the witch has claimed numerous victims over the years. Moving on to Tales from the Crypt, we have a franchise that spans television, film, and even animation. The HBO series, which ran from 1989 to 1996, was known for its high-profile guest stars and gruesome deaths. While it's impossible to tally every death across 7 seasons, we can highlight some particularly memorable episodes. The Man Who Was Death features a former executioner going on a vigilante killing spree, racking up at least 4 on-screen deaths. And All Through the House, a Christmas-themed episode, sees a woman dispatched by a maniac in a Santa suit, followed by the killer himself meeting a grisly end. In television terror, a reality TV host gets more than he bargained for in a haunted house, with multiple ghosts implying a high historical body count. Split Second features a logger exacting bloody revenge on his wife's lovers, with at least 3 graphic deaths. The Tales from the Crypt film series also contributes significantly to the body count. Demon Knight 1995 features a siege scenario with demons claiming multiple victims, easily reaching double digits. Bordello of Blood 1996 ups the ante with vampire prostitutes, resulting in a massive body count that's difficult to precisely quantify but certainly in the dozens. Tales from the Hood, released in 1995, brings a unique perspective to anthology horror, addressing social issues alongside supernatural terrors. The film presents 4 stories within a framing narrative. Rogue Cop Revelation deals with police brutality and supernatural vengeance. While the on-screen body count is relatively low, around 3 to 4, the story implies a history of violence with many victims. Boys Do Get Bruised tackles child abuse with a supernatural twist. The abusive stepfather meets a gruesome end, crushed by the child's powers. KKK Comeuppance features a racist politician tormented by killer dolls inhabited by the souls of slaves. The body count here includes the politician and his assistant, with the implication of historical atrocities adding to the toll. Hardcore Convert explores gang violence and psychological horror. While the on-screen death count is low, the protagonist's violent past and the twisted rehabilitation program imply a much higher body count. The framing story reveals that the 3 young drug dealers listening to these tales are actually dead, adding to the final count. The mortician character is revealed to be the devil, implying countless souls claimed over time. Now, let's explore some other notable anthology horror films that have left their mark on the genre. Nightmares 1983 presents 4 tales of terror. The Terror in Topanga features a serial killer stalking a young woman, with multiple implied victims and 1 on-screen death. The Bishop of Battle sees a video game obsession turn deadly, with 1 definitive death but implications of further violence. The third segment, The Benediction, pits a priest against a demonic truck, resulting in the death of the vehicle's previous victim. The final story, Night of the Rat, has a lower human body count but plenty of rat carnage. Creepshow 1982, a collaboration between George A. Romero and Stephen King, is a classic of the genre. Father's Day features a zombified patriarch claiming 3 victims. The lonesome death of Jordy Verrill sees a meteor bring about the end of its titular character. Something to Tide You Over has 2 deaths by drowning, followed by watery revenge. The crate unleashes a monster that devours at least 3 people. Their creeping up on you ends with a germaphobe overwhelmed by cockroaches, bringing the film's total body count to around 10, not counting insects. Trilogy of Terror 1975, starring Karen Black in 3 different roles, may have a lower body count but makes up for it in sheer terror. The standout segment, Amelia, features a Zuni fetish doll coming to life and stalking its owner. While only 1 death occurs on screen, the implication of the doll's continued rampage leaves the true body count to the viewer's imagination. Body Bags 1993, hosted by John Carpenter himself as a ghoulish coroner, presents 3 tales of terror. The gas station features a serial killer stalking a late-night attendant, with at least 3 deaths. Hair is more psychological horror until its gruesome conclusion. The final segment, sees a transplant recipient going on a killing spree, adding several more to the count. Trig, Our Treat 2007, while not a traditional anthology, interweaves multiple stories set on Halloween night. The interconnected nature of the tales makes it difficult to assign deaths to specific stories, but the overall body count is impressive. From a school bus massacre implied to be dozens of children to serial killers, werewolves, and vengeful spirits, this film racks up a substantial body count, easily exceeding 20 on-screen deaths with many more implied. VHS 2012 and its sequels brought the anthology format into the found footage subgenre. The original film features segments with varying body counts, from a single death in Amateur Night to multiple deaths in October 31st, 98. Across the various segments, the body count easily reaches double digits, with some deaths being particularly gruesome and memorable. Southbound 2015 presents interconnected stories set along a desolate stretch of highway. The continuous nature of the narrative makes it difficult to separate the body count by segment, but the film maintains a steady stream of deaths throughout. From car accidents to masked assailants and supernatural entities, the body count is consistently high. The ABCs of Death 2012 takes the anthology format to the extreme, with 26 short segments each depicting a death based on a letter of the alphabet. By its very nature, this film guarantees at least 26 deaths, 1 for each letter. However, many segments feature multiple deaths, easily pushing the total body count into the dozens. Ghost Stories 2017 presents a skeptic investigating 3 cases of the paranormal. While the body count is lower than some other anthologies, the psychological horror and twist ending imply a higher toll. The final revelation recontextualizes the entire film, suggesting that many of the characters we've seen may not be alive at all. As we tally up the body count across these anthology films and series, it's clear that the format lends itself to high death tolls. The ability to reset the stage with each new story allows filmmakers to dispatch characters with abandon, knowing they'll have a fresh slate in the next segment. What sets anthology horror apart in terms of body count is not just the quantity of deaths, but the variety. In a single film or series, we might see deaths by supernatural entities, human killers, accidents, and self-inflicted wounds. This diversity of demise keeps the audience on their toes, never knowing what form of death might come next. It's also worth noting the ripple effect of these deaths. Many anthology stories imply ongoing cycles of violence or supernatural curses that will claim more victims beyond what we see on screen. The true body count of these tales extends far beyond the confines of their runtime, leaving viewers to imagine the continued carnage. As we wrap up this episode of Body Count, it's clear that anthology horror holds a special place in the genre. These collections of terror not only provide a diverse array of scares but also offer a veritable buffet of death and destruction. From the morality tales of Tales from the Crypt to the social commentary of Tales from the Hood, each series and film brings its own flavor to the art of cinematic killing. The anthology format allows filmmakers to experiment with different styles and subgenres of horror, resulting in a rich tapestry of terror that can satisfy even the most discerning horror fan. Whether you prefer your deaths supernatural or mundane, graphic or implied, there's an anthology out there to satisfy your macabre cravings. As we sign off, remember, the next time you sit down to watch an anthology horror film, keep a tally. You might be surprised at just how quickly the bodies stack up when every new story brings fresh victims to the slaughter. This has been Body Count on Quaver TV, delving into the world of anthology horror and its impressively high kill counts. If you enjoyed this exploration of segmented scares, we have a special treat for you. Our host has recently published a book called Manifesting Mind Over Matter, now available on Audible and Amazon. It's a fascinating journey into the power of the human mind, perfect for those who love to explore the boundaries of human experience, hopefully with less gruesome results than the characters in these anthologies. Give it a listen and unlock the potential of your own mind. Until next time, keep counting, and remember, in the world of anthology horror, death is always just a page turn away.